What is up, guys? It's Everything Goes podcast, the best podcast in the Lehigh Valley.
It's been a hot minute, but we're up and running again. Lots to talk about with the New York Yankees.
Been lit, boy. Everything goes.
We now return you to regular programming.
All right, so joining us on the podcast today, we have Rudy, who's been on a couple times. How you doing, Rudy?
What's going on, Tyler? It's pretty good. How you doing?
Doing good. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
We're going to jump into it, talking about the Yankees. They live another day. Last night was a great game. Well, actually, I should say it was a great first inning, and then the game kind of got into a pitching duel.
I mean, I honestly been surprised with the pitching. The pitching has done so well. Other than the last game, but they've been pitching really well. It's just our hitting has completely disappeared at the wrong time.
And I feel like the only hitter we really have right now is DJ LeMahieu. I mean, he's been so aggressive coming into the plate, and as a leadoff hitter, he's been very aggressive. I mean, yesterday he started the game off with a home run off Justin Verlander, which was huge coming in that game. But not many of these guys who were hot all season, even the first series, are barely batted now.
Well, the thing that you have to remember, too, is this is the time of the year when you're going to see the best pitchers that the teams have. Our problem is we're not getting that clutch hitting when we have guys in base, or we're not getting guys on base till we have two outs. And it's the same song and dance. It's the same people that are hitting. I hope last night was kind of a spark to get this team going in the right direction, because there's guys on our team that only have two hits that, you know, they carried us most of the year, and they need to get going.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like a lot of guys on the team also are just trying to do too much. Like, at least for DJ LeMahieu, he just looks like he's just trying to make contact. He's not trying to do too much, just up there, just solid at bats. So everybody else just trying to swing for the fences.
Yeah, you saw that with Stanton. You know, Stanton finally plays. You know, he's been injured a couple of games, dealing with that quad, I think it was. And you could see he was trying to pull everything, and he was swinging as hard as he can. Like, if he just literally sticks his bat out with the sweet spot of the bat and takes it to right field, it's a home run.
Well, I think Aaron Hicks has to make a few changes too. He had Gardner batting fourth or fifth, and then
you mean Aaron Boone?
Yeah,
Aaron Boone. He's got to make a change. He had to move Gardner down, because that way, you know, if Gardner gets on, you have him and LeMahieu back to back, which is like two leadoff guys. We weren't getting those key hits. I mean, before last night, I think we were 1 for 13 in this series with runners in scoring position, which has absolutely killed us. And Game 2 was the turning point for us, because we had a chance to win that game. We really did. I just think it was poor coaching, and we had the opportunities. We had guys on base, bases loaded a couple times, and we just couldn't score a run.
No, I mean, even against Garrett Cole, Garrett Cole coming to that game, I think was 13-0. I think we said.
Yeah, and we had him on the ropes.
We hit him a lot. The only thing that sucks is when we had bases loaded, two men's on, whatever it was, we had two outs. And then whoever was at the plate either struck out or got out. We just did not score with runners in scoring position.
You know what I think saved us last night? I think Verlander was overhyped that first inning. He was so pumped up. He wanted the ball. He wanted this moment. And he was so pumped up because he threw 26 pitches in the first inning.
I mean, I think when you give up a first bat home run and then you get two guys on a walk, you know, that starts to. I mean, if you watch Verlander, he typically doesn't throw high 90s until he gets later in the game. So he had to really give it all in that first inning.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He was overhyped. But if you look at it, he gave up 3 hits in the first inning. He gave up 2 the rest of the game.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to him, because to be honest, I'm starting to hate the Houston Astros more than I hate the Red Sox.
That's exactly what I said. I'm tired of losing.
But Rudy, you have to admit one thing. The Astros, they get something from their pitchers that we don't. Their pitchers can easily go 6, 7, 8 innings because of their pitch count. For some reason, like Severino the other night, Tanaka, you know, all these guys. I mean, when you have 90-plus pitches and you're only in the 4th inning, it's a problem, because then we have to go to our bullpen again.
Well, what sucked with Severino is Severino was pitching fine. That first inning, you have Bregman, who goes on a 13-pitch battle, and then you have their first baseman who hits that slow grounder when we were playing deep. So there's another easy out that we should have had.
Yeah, but you can't. That is the coach's worst nightmare. When your pitcher throws 30 pitches in the first inning, that's the worst situation possible.
It's just that they have a lot of professional hitters out there. You know, they take good pitches and put up battles. It's tough. They're a hard team to beat. I just can't stand them.
It is tough, and a lot of people were saying, the Yankees beat the Twins, who were one of the best hitting teams in the league, that the Houston Astros should be not an easy win, but we should be able to beat them. But something about the Houston Astros is always scary. Their lineup, just from top to bottom, there's some flaws in that lineup, but they are just a powerful team.
And if you look at they said it last night, if you look at their lineup, they only have a few guys that are hitting the ball as well, too.
That's true.
They have a bunch of guys that are in
Bregman,
slumps.
I think, hasn't even had a hit in a couple games now.
He had a home run, I think, in game 1 or 2. Game 2. The first game at Yankee Stadium, he had a home run. But they're not getting the key hits either. So, I mean, tonight, let me ask you this, Rudy. If you were to coach the Yankees right now, would you have a bullpen game, or would you pitch Severino tonight? Because you have to win this game. Because you could always bring Tanaka back for Game 7 on short rest.
You could.
Yeah, true. I don't know with Severino, just like the lack of pitching he's had this season. It's a lot to put on his shoulders, and Ottavino hasn't been so hot either. So that's the only thing that holds me back with him.
Yeah, I mean that's the struggle too, man. Ottavino.
My biggest thing too is when you pitch a fast pitcher to the Astros, they seem to light them up. They're so good at hitting the high 90s fastball. And when you watch us throw Tanaka or Paxton, someone that can throw a lot of junk, they don't hit as well. So in my mind, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to throw Severino out there because Severino lives on that fastball.
Yeah, but he struck out 9 batters the last game he pitched.
Also gave up home runs.
Yeah, but that was because of his off-speed stuff.
The slider. Yeah, he threw the 2 sliders that
hung.
They got knocked out of the park.
The problem with his pitching is his slider, for some reason, you could see right away it's going to be way off the left side of the plate.
He's inconsistent.
It's not even. It's not. But I'm saying it's not even close enough like Cole's or Verlander's, where it looks like a fastball and then breaks late. Yeah. His breaks so hard early.
I mean, Cole's is completely lights out. The thing with Severino is his slider. He can throw that really well sometimes, but he's inconsistent with it. Well, he'll let it hang right there.
You know who I would have pitched tonight if he didn't get hurt? Tonight would have been a perfect night to start CC Sabathia.
I don't know,
because he doesn't have the high speed. He throws a lot of junk that they can't hit. They haven't touched him in this series. And if you look in Game 1, Tanaka only threw 19 fastballs. He threw all junk, and they couldn't touch him.
Well, coming into this game, they lived off hitting the fastball.
Yeah.
And that's why they said when we pitched Tanaka Game 1, that's why we won, because they were so used to hitting the fastball. Tanaka barely threw that.
And the last time CC pitched against them down in Houston during the regular season, he pitched great against them.
What he had discomfort in his arm? Have they come out and said what's wrong with him?
They said something was wrong with his shoulder. I forgot what it was. I saw a report earlier today. I don't remember what it was exactly.
You got to give it up for Gleyber Torres, 22 years old. He's batting .344, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, and with runners in scoring position, he has been one of our best hitters.
Absolutely.
Like, that is the guy that we want up at the plate right now. But it's people like Sanchez, Didi, Urshela. Like, these guys are just ice cold right now. Like, I don't even think I've seen Sanchez get a hit yet.
Well, Gardner has 13 Ks. Edwin has 10 Ks. Sanchez has 15 Ks. Judge has 10 Ks. I mean, that's our power bats.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the most opportune time when they have people on base, like, we need you guys to at least get a base hit. Like, I said, they're trying to hit that home run, be the hero. Like, no, just put the ball in play.
Yeah, I mean, how many times can you count where there's been, man on third and second, 1 out, and it's just like, don't even hit a home run here. Just hit a single and get 1 run at least so we can catch up.
Sanchez has had such a great year, but, looking at him at his last at-bats, and I was texting you this earlier, Rudy, I just think he looks confused. Like, he's looking for a pitch that he's not getting, and he's swinging at something that he shouldn't. Like, some of those curveballs are in the dirt in front of the bag, and he's swinging at them.
He's swinging at him, yeah. I saw his one at-bat yesterday. It was like a fastball down the middle of the plate. He just watched it, and then the next one was like a slider out way off the plate and swung at it. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, from me personally playing the game, and Rudy could probably relate to this too, he looks like a guy that
he's lost.
Hasn't gotten a hit in a couple games now, and your mind is thinking so much now. You're not only thinking about that you haven't gotten a hit, you're thinking about all these different pitches, and if you watch his at-bats, he is so off right now. It's just embarrassing to watch.
Well, I had concerns about Hicks too, even though he hit that home run.
That was clutch.
He had that was a great hit, don't get me wrong. But as a coach, man, he was out for over a month. He hasn't seen any live pitching, hasn't seen anything like that. To throw him in the Game 1, I was kind of shocked.
Look what he did.
But you had a hot
it wasn't Game 1, it was like Game 3.
But you had a hot bat that was on the bench, Maben, who hasn't seen the field, but he did in the Twins series. That's a guy that can steal. That's another thing too. We don't have
Hicks
the
can steal,
speed.
too.
We don't have speed to steal bases on anymore. We don't play small ball. We don't bunt.
No.
Yeah, like that game. What was it? Game 4 with what was it against Cole?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had man on first and second. I don't know why Gardner didn't bunt there. At least move the runners over, scoring position.
Yeah.
Then he pops out. I'm like, what the heck is that?
The thing with Hicks, so Hicks, that first game he came into game 3 of the series, I believe it was, he got 2 walks and got on base 3 times, I believe. So, I mean, he has done a good job. I mean, I think he's batting like 3rd or 2nd now. Like, that's how great he's been doing.
Yeah, but my thing is I would have got him reps like somewhere like in the batting cage or something with live pitching, just to throw him in there. I mean, Maben, I just like Maben. He had a great year.
Too,
he's a great hitter. He's a great defensive player. They were playing Stanton in the outfield, which I was concerned about because he's not a good outfielder.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give him his props. He's done pretty well considering his defense is pretty bad. But I would take out Gardner right now, to be honest.
Gardner
Well, look at that.
He's playing good defense.
Look at that fly ball the other night. That fly ball the other night, he was lost.
Oh yeah, I thought it was a home run. Yeah, and he's just like, I don't know what happened to him, and he's like let it drop. Wow.
My biggest thing, though, is the case for DJ LeMahieu to win MVP. I mean, how can you not look at this guy and the way that he is truly producing for our team?
It's a popularity vote, though. He's not going to get it.
He is the leadoff hitter for us. And, I mean, he's getting on base at least 2 times a game for us in every single game. I mean, this guy has batted over 300 consistent over the whole year. He's batting over 300 in the playoffs. He's got 12 hits already. Like, this guy is he's playing first base now, and he played mostly shortstop, third base.
Multiple positions.
It's just like, how can you not give this guy the MVP?
I'll tell you what surprised me last night, what Houston did. I'm surprised they pitched Peacock in that last inning last night. I would have started him today because he used to be a starter. He's a great pitcher. He has good junk. I would have started him today.
And what you need is what I'm seeing from the Yankees is that they're being aggressive with these good pitchers. Like Verlander, they're hopping right all over them because like what the commentators say, with Cole and Verlander, if you got 2 strikes on you, it's tough to come back. Yeah, it's literally, if you look at the stats, it's literally over because their junk is so good. That's why it's nice when you see, DJ LeMahieu hopping on the first pitch fastball. Judge hits a blooper. Like it's constant, and we're being very patient too with the pitches in the dirt.
Yeah, you can't sit there and take these pitches. Once our first strike pitches, you got to come off right away, be aggressive.
Yeah, and you saw that yesterday. We put him in a funk, got a home run, 2 walks, 3-run home run. It puts these pitchers. I mean, I think Verlander got 30 pitches in the first inning, and that's huge because we know we could beat their bullpen.
We can, yeah. we can, and we're gonna have to do it tonight. But I'm dumbfounded by out of like what is going on with him. I mean, that guy had like a 1.8 something ERA, and he's over 11 in the playoffs. I don't get it.
It's tough.
He's hanging sliders, and he's given up 7 hits in 3 innings.
That's why I said I was gonna miss Dylan Betances, especially this time of year.
Yeah, I missed.
That would have been another big arm in there, and he was pitching well when he came back too.
I think our bullpen has been pitching well, like especially Kale. I think Kale's been pitching pretty well. Britton, I'm nervous every time Britton comes in, but he hasn't been doing that bad of a job. Rudy, go Rudy.
I know, like I said, overall the pitching's been very, very good. To be honest, even starting, I mean, I wish the starters would go in a little longer.
Yeah.
But overall, the pitching has been really good, other than Game 4 where they gave up the 8 runs.
Yeah.
But
I mean, and if you look at our starting pitching, like a lot of these games, they only give up 3. Like the average would probably be 3 runs. But when your team's only getting 1 run a game, like our hitting needs to get hot. And hopefully, what happened last night will allow us to go into this game hot.
But that Game 4, it just didn't feel right. Just the mood, everything. It just didn't seem right.
I mean, the crowd was so loud.
Tanaka was off his game. It just and it was a matter of time. And they were hyping him up, saying he had the 3rd best ERA in the playoff history, and it just felt like something bad was going to happen. And the sloppy play was horrible.
Yeah. I hopefully they could take what happened to CC as motivation and try to carry that into the World Series. Hopefully.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I'm tired of losing to Houston. I just want to see us.
Houston reminds me of the New England Patriots, man. They're always there. They have a lot of money. They spend it. They have good teams. No, all right, Rudy. Just say we do lose tonight. What would you go after if you're the GM to make this team better?
Garrett Cole.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be a $200 million pitcher now.
I don't think the Yankees are gonna spend that money, especially on a 30-year-old pitcher. But I don't know, at least one more starter, to be honest. At least one.
Yeah,
I don't know who that would be, but I don't think it's going to be Cole, to be honest.
Let me ask you this. I mean, Jordan Montgomery's coming back. We don't know how good he's going to be, but what would you do with Hap? I mean, we just signed Hap to an extension. He's, 36 years old, 37 years old?
37, yeah.
You know,
would you
I'd
make
let
him
him
a
go,
reliever?
to be honest.
Yeah.
I guess middle relief. I wish I could let him go.
Because
Pretty much useless.
you're gonna need two starters then to fill out this lineup.
the thing with our team that you look at is like our team is set as far as position wise. I think we have a young team. We've got a lot of depth. It is pitching that you need. Our bullpen set. So I wouldn't mind seeing the Yankees go full out for Garrett Cole. I know he's 30, but like his numbers are just insane. And if we could get someone like that on our team to go with Tanaka and Severino,
But that's the thing the Yankees don't have. We don't have anybody that pitches over 200 innings.
we never get. I mean,
We-
as
we
a Yankees
need-
fan, when's the last time you saw a pitcher that the Yankees had that was like lights out like Garrett Cole Verlander?
Well, we need a workhorse. We need, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
this season's never been.
We need two workhorses that can carry this team because we abused our whole bullpen through the Twin
We're a
series.
bullpen team.
But I'm just saying, I mean, you got to get better pitching.
I mean,
like
I feel
last night, him pitching Paxton, going that extra inning, that helped us. So we can at least rest our bullpen. And I love the fact that the crowd went nuts when he went out there to pull him, and he said, "I'm good. Let's go. Let's ride it." And then the crowd went nuts.
He, at least that was a great pick for us this year. Like, I know everybody's talking about we could have Corbin. At least Paxton, he's performed, especially the second half of the season.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna say
into
for
the
how bad he started off. I think a lot of Yankees fans thought that was a stupid, extension, a stupid pickup. But I mean, I think he was 10-1 in the second half.
I know he won 10 straight games. He didn't lose anymore.
Yeah.
Second half.
And let's face it, the Washington Nationals, they're sitting back. They're hoping this goes 7 because they're going to benefit from this. All their stars are going to be rested.
Oh yeah, I mean that could be a bad thing too.
Yeah. But
I mean, that's another team you got to watch out. They got 4 solid pitchers on their team.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
some young
and you know
dangerous
what?
hitters.
I not to brag, but I did pick them way back in April. I said they're going to go to
Yeah,
the World Series.
I told Noah, I was like, I think you never predicted the Nationals going to the World
Yeah.
Series.
He predicted the Nationals versus the Yankees.
No, I just like their rotation is so good. I mean the hitting, it didn't start out good in the beginning, but then they got it all together and they were just a team that just kept climbing up the ladder.
Yeah.
And let's face it, I mean their pitching has dominated. I mean no one can touch them.
Yeah. Luckily, their bullpen's not the hottest, but they haven't had to be in that position where they have to use their bullpen really to put them in the games because they're hitting so good.
But we'll move on, Rudy, just because we have a second call today. So we want to talk about your Minnesota Vikings for a little bit. You guys are second in your division right now. You're 4-2. Coming off a huge win where the Eagles linebacker straight up trashed Kirk Cousins, and he threw an amazing stats to Stephon Diggs. I mean, what's your overall view so far on how your season's going with the Vikings?
Up them. They tend to play well sometimes, and then other times they seem to disappear. But I guess they needed that talking to with Kirk Cousins because he's played great ever since they had that little altercation or whatever was going on there.
Yeah.
And it's always great to beat the Eagles, so I can't stand them.
I can't either.
Yeah, and I hope the Eagles can lose another one this week to Dallas because my Cowboys, I got to tell you, I don't want to blame them on injuries, but we're just a hot mess right now, and we do have a lot of injuries. But man, it's like the offense is good one week, and then they change it up, and it's like Jason Garrett's fighting for the reins back from the kid. So I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah, but with your Vikings, there was a lot of drama at one point, 2 weeks ago, where Kirk Cousins was on a podcast and said Adam Thielen is like the best wide receiver in the league. I mean, I could see Stephon Diggs getting upset, and that was almost, we talked about that personally. Me and my dad here, we talked about how that almost is like the Antonio Brown and Juju Smith kind of thing going on. But what Diggs has to remember is, I mean, Diggs is a great receiver, and he's getting double coverage. I mean, Adam Thielen's obviously going to get open more, and we've said it countless times in this podcast that the Vikings are such a good team, and if Kirk Cousins can keep this going, like, that's going to be a tough team to beat.
Well, I think it was frustrating, too, is because of the play calling, because Mike Zimmer wants them to be a run-first team. I think he's trying to play a little too old school. I was like, you paid the guy $84 million to pass the ball.
Yeah.
Don't try to be a run-first team. Be a balanced team. You have so many weapons to throw to. Why would you just be a run-first team? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, I think he saw how well Cook was playing that first couple of games, and he tried relying on that. And then, I mean, you got to throw. You have a lot of weapons.
No, you know what?
That's what I'm saying. I figure you balance it out, you know?
I picked Minnesota to win that division. The Packers are 5-1, but I really don't think they're that good. I think their defense is helping them a lot, and they're getting lucky.
To be real, that Lions game should have been a loss.
Yeah, they should have lost to the Lions. If Dallas didn't throw freaking 4 picks, they beat them.
That's different.
It's not different. It is. It's true. But if you look at the NFC side, I mean, there's a lot of teams that are good. I think the NFC is going to be wide open come to playoff times. I mean, you got the 49ers, who absolutely surprised everybody. They have a real legit defense. I mean, their defense is putting up numbers that's almost as better than New England's. Then you have Seattle, who they really don't have any good weapons at all, and they just find ways to win. The Rams.
Yeah, Russell Wilson.
I don't know what to make of the Rams. I mean,
I don't truly think the Rams are a good team. I think that they are. You're seeing. I mean, you think about how much talent is on that team.
They have a lot of talent, and I think that they're in the same situation as Dallas. And I think that they're awesome on paper. They just got to figure things out. I think they're going to be a team that's gonna be there. But
they just need to have that chemistry. They need to form together.
The thing is you can't have bad losses in the NFC. You know what I mean? Because it's going to come down to wild cards.
Yeah, I mean, and that division itself, I mean, you have 2 teams that already have 5 wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So I guess I think Jared Goff got a little exposed in the playoffs last season. Because ever since the playoffs started last season, he's been playing terrible coming into this season as well.
I mean,
now he doesn't have Todd Gurley to carry the load anymore either. He's not playing well either.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about Jared Goff, okay?
So he killed me last week in fantasy.
Jared Goff has always been
killed me. He had less points than my kicker.
Jared Goff has always been a good passing quarterback, but like if you think about how many good records he's had, I mean, I think last year was his best record. I mean, he coming into this league, he had a terrible year. I mean, are we seeing the true Jared Goff right now? I don't know. I can't answer that.
They're saying it's because of the coach that he was the one calling the plays, and then they said they noticed when he couldn't hear anything playing against the Saints, it was so loud. His play calling is just terrible. Yeah. He can't make plays for himself. It's all McAvey making the plays for him.
And going off what you just said, that's another reason though is why Russell Wilson is one of the best quarterbacks this year. Is that whole first drive he had? He didn't even have communication with his coach. He was doing his own plays right there, and he led that team down for a touchdown.
Yeah, he's one of those guys I can't stand either, but like he's so freaking good. I just can't, you know. He seems a little cheesy, but I have to give him his props. He's a great quarterback.
For a 5'10", barely 6 foot quarterback, you know, like he's a good quarterback, man. I mean,
you know what really surprises me is the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about this.
They're gonna have a problem. I mean, this is like the whole Tony Romo thing. You know, Tony Romo got hurt. Dak Prescott stepped up, and let's face it, Dak stepped into basically a dream position because Kellen Moore broke his leg, Romo broke his back again, and the same thing's going on in Carolina. I mean, Cam gets hurt, and this quarterback has won what 4 games in a row, 5 games or whatever it is. Hasn't thrown a pick,
and it's not like. I mean, you take the Saints situation. Obviously, Teddy's not performed well enough where Drew Brees lost his job.
He's done enough to win.
There is a serious battle going on in Carolina where there's 10 teams that have already reached out to the Carolina Panthers about inquiring Cam Newton.
Dude, as painful as it was, I told you when Drew Brees went down, don't worry about it. Looking at their schedule, the Saints are going to win at least 4 of those 5 games.
We played some hard teams.
Yes, and he's done exactly what he has to do.
Mm-hmm. But he hasn't done it. He hasn't done it well enough though, where he's threatening Brees' job as Kyle Allen is doing right now.
But Carolina, back to them, they're gonna have a decision to make.
Mm-hmm. And I had this discussion, and it's like, you know,
because
you have a young guy who doesn't scramble, so you know he's gonna be healthy longer.
But do you trade Cam Newton comes back this week? Do you honestly bench Allen and say, you know what, we're going back to Cam?
You can't. I mean, he's won 5 in a row.
Yeah.
What'd Cam do before he came back? I think he had 1 game that he won. Now, they're saying there's teams like Tennessee could use a quarterback. Chicago could use a quarterback. Could you imagine him in Chicago?
Yeah,
Trubisky's not there with that defense?
They're saying Trubisky's done in Chicago. They really don't like him.
I don't think he's a bad quarterback.
I don't think he's a good quarterback.
What sucks is what you gave up or what you didn't draft instead of him.
Yeah.
Pass on Mahomes and Watson. Go with Trubisky.
Yeah.
And also, that Carolina situation actually kind of reminds me of the 49ers with Alex Smith and then Colin Kaepernick when Alex Smith got hurt. Like, or Kaepernick has a hot hand. You're not going to take him out.
No.
I say roll him to the playoffs and Super Bowl.
And that one had to be probably the toughest. I mean, you think about those two quarterbacks. Both those quarterbacks are so good, but Colin Kaepernick just had so much talent.
Who did the Giants play this week?
They play, I believe it's the Cardinals.
Yeah, Cardinals. Yep.
If the Giants win,
Yep.
they're going to be tied for second place with either Dallas or Philly.
Because you think the Dallas or Eagles, one of them's going to
And
lose.
if you look at the Giants' schedule, it's not that hard.
And they have Saquon coming back.
Could you imagine if the Giants win the NFC East?
We said this. I said this. I wish we could play this back. I said don't sleep on the Giants.
You can't. No. And I said that too because I said they have a very easy schedule and they have a lot of weapons there.
Let's be real. Ingram, top 5 tight end this year. The way he's playing, they have so many weapons. They have Sterling Shepard coming back. You have Saquon coming back. You have Daniel Jones, who is looking like he could potentially be a good quarterback in this league.
The problem with Daniel Jones is, and he's got the same problem as the quarterback from the Ravens.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson.
He runs too much, and they don't slide. They don't give up their body. And Dak does the same thing. Mm-hmm. In this league here, man, when you come out of that pocket, these guys want to kill you.
Yeah.
And if you don't slide, they're going to kill you.
Yeah.
That's why Russell Wilson's so damn good. He knows when to get out of trouble because he's not going to let himself get killed out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No.
And Russell Wilson, that guy, he's just a magician back there. And I love it. Yeah. I have him in fantasy.
I think the worst thing about the NFL this year has been the refs.
Oh, yeah. The penalties are increased. The holding penalties are up 70% or something like that.
I mean, you stick 2 refs in the backfield, holding plays. I mean, penalties are up, I think, 60%, they said.
The pass interference review is crap.
You know what's crazy, though, is they're not calling pass interference as much now. And then they try and review it, and nothing ever gets overturned.
Well, they want to get rid of that. They want to get rid of that.
Yeah, they want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I think they just did that to appease to the Saints fans. They're all like, "Oh, here we made a change," and
none of the Saints fans were even happy about that. But what stinks is that every time they review a pass interference call, whether it was called or not called, I don't think it's been overturned yet.
Yeah.
No, I think maybe one, if any. I don't even remember any, to be honest.
It's been such, and we had this talk on side here. Is why is it that these players, week in and week out, have to practice so hard and study so much film, while these refs, they have one game and then nothing happens? These refs should be trained. They should be evaluated, and they should potentially have to fight for their job every year. Because if you're not, I mean, first of all, get some young guys in here.
I said this from the start, and college football does this. Instead of having that extra official in the backfield now at your head linesman, put him up in the booth. They have video screens all around them. If they throw a penalty while they're talking, he could say, "Nope, no penalty, pick it up." Or, they can have these discussions through him, and it'll fix everything. Yeah. College football does it, where they have a guy up in the booth, where he buzzes down if something's going on. Like if it's a head-to-head contact, where they actually kick people out of the games for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They should do that. But I got to ask you guys this. Now that Patrick Mahomes is hurt and no one knows how long he's going to be out for right now.
Minimum 3 weeks.
Is New England basically going to another Super Bowl?
I mean, I wouldn't say. I'd say they're at least making playoffs since they have the number 1 defense in the league right now.
I seriously don't see anyone in the AFC that can beat them.
I mean, anyone could beat anyone any given day, but this team has the number 1 defense. Tom Brady, though, has been a little shaky lately. You can say that, but they're 6-0 and they're riding the sunset right now.
And they have an easy schedule. Their schedule is ridiculously easy the rest of the way. I mean, I don't
have to play the Dolphins twice.
You know what surprises me? What's wrong with the Chargers?
I have no idea what that was.
they're the Dallas Cowboys of the AFC East. I think
they're worse, to be honest.
I don't know. They were favored
to go to the
Super Bowl,
and yet they're losing. Well, who'd they lose? Was it who'd they lose to? The Pittsburgh. Was it Pittsburgh? Who was it the other day that they lost to that shocked everybody? Who'd they play last week? Oh.
Wasn't it the Raiders?
No. Hold on, I got it right here. Don't you guys worry. We're not gonna have to edit anything out. They lost.
Well, let's face it. They only have 2 wins, so all their losses have been shots.
It was the Steelers and the Broncos the past 2 weeks in a row they lost to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Broncos, I think, were one of those. Yeah.
You know what?
The Broncos look absolutely terrible.
Yeah. I mean, Joe Flacco hasn't been an elite quarterback in how long, and yet he made them look like they were the worst team ever.
And Melvin Gordon came back, and he's just absolute trash.
That's another team that we've talked about. That you look on paper, that team's so talented up and down.
Yeah.
Their defense, their offense.
They're talking about Mahomes. Not to go back to Mahomes, but they're talking about him and that whole Madden curse.
Yeah, I saw that too when it happened. I said, hey, look at Antonio Brown. I think wasn't he on the cover last year?
Yeah.
That's a legit curse, man.
That is.
I never want to be on that cover. I think the only person that has his tongue is maybe Tom Brady.
I mean, you think Drew Brees was on the cover? Next year, they're the Bounty Gate.
Yeah. You know what? This week, the Jets are gonna upset New England, and I'm not gonna be so upset about losing to them as a Cowboys fan.
I have said from the beginning,
Darnold's a beast.
Sam Darnold comes back, that team on paper is a pretty good team.
Yeah. I
mean, that quarterback they had in there is not even good enough to play like in the Canadian football league.
Dude, they only had 2 offensive touchdowns the whole season before they played Dallas. And Dallas let them have 3 in the first quarter.
And you think when Mosley comes back, that defense is pretty good. You have Le'Veon Bell in the backfield. You have Anderson on the outside. You have a good young tight end who's injured right now, unfortunately, when he comes back. That just adds another piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I was saying, I don't. If you look at the AFC, man, I don't see anyone that's gonna beat New England, especially New England at home. I mean, Houston. Houston's good. They're 4-2, but they really don't have an offensive line.
And with that defense,
and Watson gets sacked a lot. The Colts. I don't know what to make of the Colts. I mean, they play each other this week, the Colts and Texans. Jacksonville, man, Tennessee. I mean, they basically said we're done with Mariota.
That's first of all, that sucks. But that's another thing too. In Jacksonville, Minshew does not look bad. So when you have Nick Foles come back, like that's another situation. Like, what do you do?
I mean, Baltimore, they have a 2-game lead in their division. I mean, Cleveland and Pittsburgh are 2-4, and Cincinnati don't have a win. I mean,
yeah, Cincinnati's trash.
I don't think
sucks with the Browns is so many people want to trash Baker. I mean, I know he's cocky and all, but when you basically have no offensive line, like they lost 3 offensive linemen, one into a trade, one's injured. Like he is literally running for his life.
You know what team's really intriguing? What do you guys make of the Buffalo Bills?
They're a good team right now.
I mean,
defense style.
Yeah, I mean, they almost beat New England. They really don't have an offense. I mean, they have a bunch of like people that they can throw the ball to.
I wouldn't
and
say that
stuff,
they don't have an offense. They have an offense that can at least produce some points.
Well, who's that running back?
And they allow their defense to do it.
What do they have? Gordon. They have that Singleton.
Old man Frank Gore, man.
Yeah.
And I think is that Singleton that's coming back. He was out hurt.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think they might have Ivory. I'm not sure.
All right, Rudy. Well, we gotta get to another call, and we appreciate you joining us on this call. It's always
you guys. It was a pleasure.
Yankees in 7, baby.
Game 7.
No, you know what? Tonight is going to be a crazy night because not only is it the Yankees in Houston, but we have Penn State, Michigan. I hope Michigan runs all over that whiteout up there.
I don't really have a college team, but I'm a big Jim Harbaugh fan, so I'm hoping they destroy Penn State.
Me too. All right, Rudy. We hope you have a good rest of your day. It's a pleasure to have you on again.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
All right, Rudy. Thanks for coming on.
Take care.
All right, so we just had our buddy on the phone. Now we got Mike on the phone. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How you guys doing?
Dude, I am doing so good after that first inning last night.
Dude, tell me about it.
Aaron Hicks, man. I'm so happy we extended him. Even though he struggled this season with injuries, I'm so happy we re-signed him.
I'm still not happy about that, but it's all right.
Oh, man, Hicks to the sticks, man. Yesterday I was a little nervous, but when Hicks got that one out there, it energized the crowd. It was a different feeling in the building, and I think the momentum changed, man. I know it's kind of crazy to say that against the Stros because you figured we're going back to Houston, and we got to face Cole at least one more time. But
yeah, which we've hit around. We did hit him around.
We just had Rudy on, and Rudy's a friend of ours too, and he's a diehard Yankee fan. And I asked him this question since now you're a coach now, the New York Yankees, and this is a do or die game. Your bullpen has been used a lot already. Why wouldn't you pitch Severino tonight? You have to pitch your best pitcher that's available. Why not Severino tonight? And pitch Tanaka Game 7 on short rest.
That's a good question. I think if we're thinking like Aaron Boone right now, I think behind closed doors, if he's just in the locker room by himself, I don't think he feels super confident in Severino.
I wouldn't
based on his last outing. I don't think he's going to tell us that, but I think he's thinking, you know what, I think for, the whole entire season, we've played this bullpen life where we started Chad Green and he's given us 4 or 5 great innings, and he's going by analytics, and I think he's like, you know what, Sevy didn't really look too comfortable the last outing. Tanaka,
Yeah, but
that would be the
let's say this. All right, Severino, he only pitched two, maybe 3 games before the playoff game. Maybe it was just overhyped. A lot of energy going on. It's a playoff game. It's a big stage.
He's definitely an emotional pitcher, and he pitches better at home. So again, I'm not defending Boone,
Yeah.
but if they're gonna go bullpen, I'm gonna throw bullpen too. And even this might sound crazy, but maybe throw in Chapman the first or second inning. That sounds nuts, but letting Britton maybe close it out.
Nothing's
Just,
nuts.
Changing.
Nothing's nuts, Mike, because it's a do or die. But my thing is that if you don't trust Severino in Game 6, they're gonna pitch him in Game 7 if we win. But my thing is if you don't trust Severino, I would rather pitch him though than over going with Happ after Green, and that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna go Happ.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, even Severino coming in like maybe midway, you know what I mean? But I don't know if I would start Severino just on he's a very like emotional guy the first few innings. He's almost like Verlander. You got to give him a couple innings before he settles in. So
now that's a good point too. You could either have Severino start 2 innings and go to a bullpen, or have him come in midway, which he has done before and been lights out.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm gonna put a bet on that, I would love to see him come off the bullpen. Honestly, that way a lot of the jitters are out of the way, and he's allowing the bullpen to. Chad Green's not an emotional kind of guy. He goes in and he just does his business. Where Severino's, he lets emotions get in his way. So,
and if you start Happ, who doesn't throw as fast as Severino, then you throw Severino in there.
No, you can't.
Happ needs to go.
The only way Happ is going to be good, and this is what he struggled with all year, is if he can get that fastball in on the hands like Paxton did last night. If you can't, and that's what he's been struggling with. He's leaving that fastball out over the plate. He lives and dies with the corners, and that's been his problem all year.
Yeah, Happ drives me crazy. Happ is he relies on the pop up at Yankee Stadium. I mean, you've seen the numbers. He gets tortured, especially at Yankee Stadium. Too many balls get out the park.
I said to Rudy, if CC wasn't hurt, this would be the game to start him.
I totally agree.
Because they can't hit slow off-speed junk, and that's what Tanaka killed him with in Game 1.
I totally agree. I think we would have saw CC Sabathia maybe a couple innings, maybe even like a CC Severino mix. That would have been great.
Yeah, actually, that sounds pretty nice.
Because you got to remember, Tanaka only pitched 4 innings the other night, so he's not like he went long. He didn't throw a lot of pitches, so I would be planning on, Tanaka's going to Game 7.
Oh my God.
That's my guy.
If you win tonight, Tanaka's going to pitch.
I totally agree. I agree because the thing is, the splitter with that cold weather, it was staying too high. So I'm okay with him coming in Game 7. I think it's an indoor ballpark. The fans are going to be nuts. It's going to be good weather. It's going to be warm inside the building. That splitter will be more effective. So I'm with that.
And I think you got to tell Tanaka too. Like, listen, man, you have to come in. Like, it's a win or die, go home. Like, if we win today, like we literally need you to win this game for us.
But I tell you what, this bullpen, it is good, but the bullpen drives me absolutely bonkers when they come in. Man. Zach Britton, I don't know what it is with Zach Britton, but he scares the crap out of me when he pitches, especially when he spikes that ball into the ground and. Oh, it drives me nuts, man.
Yeah, he has, but surprisingly, he's done pretty good. He came in yesterday with men on first and third, and he got that out. And the one that's really been concerning for us, and it's no secret, I think it's Ottavino. I don't know where Ottavino went.
Yeah, it's disappeared.
We just talked about that with Rudy. He's given up 7 hits in 2 innings, and his ERA is well over 11, and it's just crazy.
My biggest thing too is I didn't want to talk with this Rudy because I know he's a big Sanchez fan. So am I. But like he has got to block that ball. He gets really lazy with it.
It seems like he went back from what he was all year was good, but back to last year where he's just throwing his arm out instead of sliding out and blocking the ball.
Especially when you're in the postseason, man, you have to play your best game. And there's times back there where like he just gets real lazy and finesse with it. And I mean, you saw it yesterday. They scored from third base because of pass ball.
Yeah. Did you guys hear about the story behind that, though? It came out on Bleacher Report that it looks like Sanchez was actually his emotions were all over the place like a Sevy guy. I guess what happened was with the sign stealing and the signal stealing that apparently Houston's been doing on us, that really threw Sanchez's game off. And you can see that behind the plate. He just wasn't comfortable. He was letting balls get past him.
Yeah,
he's
we
swinging at balls and not swinging at strikes.
Well, we talked about that. We said that, I mean, if you watch his at-bats, he truly looks like he is in a bad funk where he is thinking so much, and he's swinging at pitches that he typically doesn't even swing at.
Yeah, and that article just it comes to almost to be right on the money because he just doesn't seem himself right now at all. And
No.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like Sanchez is not as advertised. To be honest with you, he'll get in these great spurts and he'll hit the ball well.
Well,
But
we had that whole discussion back in April, and I said I would change Sanchez. I would trade Sanchez for JT Realmuto real fast, and
I wish we could do something like
I got
that.
burned for that one.
Hey, well, not really. Realmuto had a hell of a year. So.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, I like Sanchez. I think he's a good player. I think he's got a lot of potential, but I feel like there's just been more outweighing him. Like, there's just been so many signs. Like, I mean, you think of the playoffs, I don't think he has one hit yet.
Yeah, but even
Well,
he does. Yeah, he does.
And how long are we going to keep playing that game with Sanchez? It's been 3 years now.
It's almost like it's like a divorce. Like, when is it just gonna be over? Like, you know what I mean though? It's like, is he gonna? Are we truly gonna see a good Sanchez for 2 years? Are we gonna constantly deal with this battle?
But the thing is,
I think you guys might agree with this. I think this is probably the best Sanchez we have seen because
yeah.
apparently he wasn't injured this year. He had a pretty good midseason. He was hitting the ball well, and then he got hurt. He came back, and then this whole sign stealing thing drove him off the wall, and now he just can't see the ball. So,
but the problem is too is what do we have in a system behind him that can take his spot? I mean, you could always make him a DH, you know what I mean? But who are you going to put in there that's going to give you?
This sounds absolutely crazy, and I've gotten like a 50-50 split with this, but I'm super okay with Romine going in there. Just because Romine,
so am I.
Just because, and this is why Romine has shown that when you give him a couple at bats and he starts to exceed, like all you need is to give him 2 to 3 games in a row. And this guy's connecting the ball, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes behind the plate. I'm not saying he's a Sanchez replacement, but in the meantime, before
he reminds me of Ronald Torres. You know what I mean? He's like the spark plug that comes in and gives you.
Terrible reference.
I'm just saying he'll come in and he'll give you great defense, but he'll give you that good little bit of a spark at the plate once in a while. You know, it's like his numbers aren't real flashy.
My biggest thing, when I think of a catcher, obviously it's nice to have a catcher that can hit a lot of home runs. For the Yankees, we have a lot of guys that hit home runs. I love watching people like Gomes, Realmuto, people that play an extraordinary defense position behind the plate.
Yeah, just small ball. Yeah, absolutely.
And I would rather have a gold glove catcher rather than a guy who might miss a couple balls, might hit a couple home runs. And again, I'm not trying to trash Sanchez. I like Sanchez, but I'm tired of like it's inconsistent.
But the problem is, and we discussed this. I mean, there's a lot of things we discussed on the show, but he's considered a power hitter. You know what I mean? And what do power hitters do? They strike out a lot. So they get the big money, much. But they're going to give you the big splash, and they're going to give you the big strikeouts.
Look at Judge, all these guys.
Look at Judge, man, and Judge has to really sit back right now too. If we're talking about the Yankees, he has to say to himself, "Look, in 2017, I had the record for rookie home runs, and then in 2018, we play the Red Sox. I get a home run that first game. I use the boom box. It bites me in the ass.
Yep.
And then this year." You know, like last night, you heard what he said last night? I hope it doesn't bite him in the ass today. But last night, he was like, I woke out of bed this morning, and I knew we were going to Houston.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, at this point, AJ, just stay quiet and just play ball because it hasn't worked for you with the whole talking thing. So
that's like him and Stanton, two huge guys on our team. And like we were saying, Stanton, man, when you watch Stanton bat, he is truly trying to hit a home run almost every at bat.
That's a bad contract for the Yankees. I'm sorry, and I've said this before. He's injured. He never plays a full season. It's a waste of money. We could use that money somewhere else. Like get a Garrett Cole. You know what I mean? At least he's going to give you 200 innings of pitching and strike out about 300 to 500 freaking batters.
This is almost shaping up. I totally agree. This is almost shaping up to be the Jacoby Ellsbury deal where we throw him the bag and he just barely plays a full season. So and then yesterday, I mean, I guess he got the first hit in the. Well, no, he didn't get a hit in the first inning. He fought him off pretty well, but he didn't get anything.
Yeah, but you know what? He's another one. He can't hit the off-speed junk. Him and Judge, they struggle with that slider away. They can't touch it.
Yeah, that's true, especially where they sit in the box.
I liked Encarnacion, man. I know he's been struggling, but he's coming in some hot positions, though.
You know what surprises me? What's up with Luke Voigt?
How do you? What bothers me is I know you play your best guys, but how do you have a guy that played first base almost all season?
Why are we
totally
carrying?
agree.
Why are we carrying 13 pitchers? Why not have someone other than Maben up there?
And you know what's stupid now is you're having these guys sit and they're getting cold, and you're gonna add them to a roster one day, and then you're gonna be like, okay, let's go. I want you to go hit.
Is Luke Voigt? Is he hurt?
No.
No, he's just not on the active roster. That's all it is.
That's like-
which surprises me. It's crazy because he was one of those guys where it was next man up, and he had a pretty heck of a season. So to see him not in there,
And if I'm not mistaken,
that's
I think he had big games during the season in Houston.
Dude,
he did.
he's
He
a-
actually did. You know what? You're spot on. He did. So I don't know. Look, Aaron Boone got called out the other night by some of the analysts for his lineup and mixing them up. And
Yeah, Gardner.
I agree. You go into a game and, well, where am I batting today? Am I batting sixth? Am I batting third? And it's just.
And
It's
I
hard
get
to
it.
get-
I get it. I mean, with how much talent he has, even on the bench and the starting line, that's got to be a tough position, man, to try and pick out who you want to play.
And I'm sorry too. Another thing is, ever since Didi came back, that he's not having a good year. Ever since he came back from Tommy John.
No, he has. He's had like little like spurts of like mid-season form, but other than the grand slam against Minnesota, that was really
He's done
it.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
step
where
back.
I would have brought more guys in the roster because, like, especially if you go down 2-1, I'm playing guys I'm benching guys that aren't hitting.
Well,
I'm trying to put I'm
I'm
putting someone in there that's going to get hot.
Well,
Move
unfortunately,
DJ
they
over.
went heavy with pitching.
Yeah, move DJ over somewhere. Put Void at first. You could have put DJ at short. Bench DD for one game just to get his head clear. You could have put Void at first, see if he gets hot. I mean,
Put Voigt at first. Put DJ at second.
yeah, Torres at short. Anything you got to move that lineup around when someone's getting cold because you have all these hot hitters.
Problem is we have too many power hitters, and with that comes cold bats, cold streaks, and a lot of strikeouts.
And that's why
That's you can't put it any better than that. That's exactly what the problem is. We're not playing small ball, and for the last several years in the postseason, we love our Yanks, but the truth is that we rely on the home run ball, and we become, instead of savages in the box, we just become confused. So it's like,
Yep.
Give me 5 Gleyber Torreses and give me 4 DJ LeMahieus, and I'll win a championship every year.
right, and
know
I'm
what I
sure
mean?
these guys are tired. You know what I mean? Like, you got to mix around the lineup. Hey, Voigt's sitting there. Maybe sit down Didi for a game. You know, maybe throw Gleyber at short. And
Yeah, but I don't know if they can do that because he's not on the active roster. They would have to send somebody down, like a pitcher or somebody. Well, who do they fill CC's spot with? Another pitcher,
Another
right?
pitcher.
See, that's
I
dumb.
think it was a Lions or something. I don't know who it was, but
I would have activated whatchamacallit. I would have activated Voigt.
I mean, I was shocked. You didn't activate Frazier. You didn't activate Voigt. You didn't activate. I mean, I know Talkman was injured, but there's all these guys that could have been producers.
But Mike, we talked about this too at Rudy. The thing that really irritates me about the Yankees is our pitching. Our starting pitching doesn't go past the 5th inning, and it's not by design either. It's by the pitch counts always. What was it 2 nights ago? Severino 94 pitches in the 4th inning. I mean, you can't do that because then you're forced to go to your bullpen.
yeah, you're spot on with that. I mean, and this is going to be the dilemma for the offseason. If we don't win today, we're going to get tortured and beat up with the Yankees just didn't do enough in the in the trades and the offseason to get starting pitching. And look at when Domingo Germán went out. You know what I mean? That's a big loss.
Oh my
right?
God!
I totally forgot about
That's who would have been starting tonight.
Yeah,
I
pretty much.
forgot about him. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
All
And I'm
slapping his
concerned
girlfriend or something?
because Cashman didn't push for Stroman, and I know people have mixed feelings about Stroman,
I
but
wanted him.
look,
I wanted
he's
him.
a New Year kid. Why not? He still has another year left. He would have had him for next year as well. It would have made total sense. You know that you're going to probably make the postseason, right?
Yeah.
Mark my words. The Mets will be in the postseason next year with that starting pitching rotation they have. They'll be in the postseason next year.
They're going to be pretty lights out if
Especially if
they
they get
play ball like
Girardi.
they did this year. They're going to be lights out.
Especially if they get Girardi. Oh man, Joe Girardi is the coach.
Yeah, but that's what aggravates the hell out of me is that our pitchers. Even last night, Houston, they didn't win that game, but Verlander gave them 8 innings, and their bullpen's well rested.
Hey, I'll take it. We did what we had to do. We had to get Verlander early. That was
we
the game
did.
plan, and
And
we
we
did
did.
it. So I'm okay with that. But
Yeah,
we'll see. Today's going to be a fun one to watch because it's going to be bullpen and bullpen. So
Yeah.
we'll see
and
what happens.
we've been in this position before with the Indians.
I
when we
tell
were
you right
3-1.
now, if Hap comes in and he gives up a home run, I'm gonna punch my TV so hard that Aaron Boone is gonna feel it right in his throat because I'm gonna be so mad.
I wouldn't even bother with Hap. I think Hap just needs to leave the Yankees and just consider retirement. He just relies on that fastball. He doesn't have a lot of about anything else going on. And I mean, again, I don't want to put the guy down, but since we picked him up, he's been more of a headache than anything else. I wouldn't count on Hap. I mean, honestly, this sounds crazy. I would rather see CC in there before Hap if CC wasn't injured, but that's not gonna happen.
You know what he has to do? He seriously has to work on a secondary pitch.
Yep.
I mean, if when you get like I want to say long in the tooth, when you're older, you have to find other ways. Like look at Greg Maddux back in the day. You know, he lost his fastball velocity, but he had 3 or 4 other off-speed junk pitches that nobody can touch, which made him a great pitcher.
Right, and that's what really good pitchers do.
That's exactly what CeCe did. He didn't have the
fastball
no more.
You can almost use Cole as an example. Cole didn't have 5-6 pitches when he was with Pittsburgh, and look at him now.
Well, they talked about that. You know, you have CeCe, you have Zach Greinke, who doesn't throw as hard as much anymore, so you have to evolve your game. And that's why they said someone like Greinke will become a Hall of Famer, because you continue your career by evolving.
But if Hap does that,
spot on.
He could be an Adam Warren for us, where he comes in and gives us those mid innings, where he gives you 2 or 3 innings or 4 innings. You know what I mean? That's what I would work with him. I would say, look, this is what your role is going to be. This is what you need to do. Work on these pitches, and boom, you'll have a better career. But
yeah, I mean, it's no secret, guys. I think obviously, even if we do on and advance to the World Series, I mean, it's not going to be a cakewalk either. The Nationals, they got to the World Series because of their pitching. It's no secret. Yeah. They have an amazing support cast with their pitching. So Cashman has to figure it out, or pretty soon he's going to be on the hot seat, because it's just year after year after year. We get to the postseason, we pass maybe the wild card, and we can't do it because our pitching, and then we rely on the home run ball and
starting to play the Dodgers.
You think about it. You think about it. In the last 2 years, we got knocked out by the World Series champion. We got knocked out by Houston. We got knocked out by Boston, and this year we're playing Houston again.
It's crazy how stuff like that works, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. What do you think of this whole Penn State game tonight?
We're gonna whoop their ass tonight.
Whoa! This is the house of the Wolverines here, man.
No way, man. We got some revenge. So it's a whiteout game. It's gonna be crazy energy.
It's gonna be that energy's gonna be
I'm
shot
expecting
real
it
quick.
to go down to the wire. So.
I've been to the whiteout game already, and I was dressed in my Michigan gear, and I was razzed the whole day, and it was not fun at all. And Michigan, back when they had Chad Henne and Michael Hart and all them, we ended up beating Penn State in that whiteout game. But
look, it's no secret. We typically don't do well in the whiteout games, but I don't know. I feel this year's a little different, and KJ Hamler looks really good, and Tyler Clifford, and I don't know, man. I'm excited. We'll see what happens.
Your quarterback looks good, man, compared to our quarterback.
He's
got 13 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions. I mean, our quarterback has 4 already. So
he doesn't make mistakes, and that's why I like Clifford. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and that's huge going down the stretch.
I think Michigan, they made a lot of changes, and you can't expect the changes to change your football team in one season. It takes a couple years to get what they're doing. They're going to that spread offense now. But our problem is we turn the ball over too much. I think we have 11 fumbles in the last 4 games, and that can't happen. We need a quarterback that that can run the offense, and we just don't have one right now. Shea Patterson is just all over the place.
I don't have faith in Shea Patterson yet. I mean, this was a quarterback we got who was averaging 3,000 passing yards with his old college, and yet you don't really see him throw the ball downfield.
And we went away from the tight end. I mean, we have a great running game. We have a great offensive line, but we just went away from throwing to our tight ends and moving the ball down the field. And our defense is hit or miss. The last 2 games, our defense has been pretty solid, but we gotta go in the Happy Valley and make it unhappy.
Yeah, I just enjoy. I just enjoy the.
We gotta get to the quarterback, man. We're gonna need about 9 sacks tonight and a couple turnovers and.
It's going to be a good one to watch. I'm actually going to my buddies tonight. It's going to be a good one to watch. It's going to come down to the wire. I don't expect it to be a blowout. I think it's going to be 2 teams who've had a pretty decent year so far. And I mean, our schedule's been, we've been playing pretty easy teams, and I think this will define really who Penn State is. I think it started last week with Iowa. Purdue, and we looked pretty good. So. This game is really gonna come down to and then we got Michigan State next week. So I think Michigan State, no offense to you guys, they look like a really, really good team right now. So
they do.
I think today will really define
their defense.
I just wish you guys were on our division and not in that easy side. Like Indiana, Illinois, and all them over there. You should be on
I get it.
But You know, the
Whatever.
thing that sucks about tonight is it's either going to be a good night for me or it's going to be a bad night for me. So if Michigan loses and the Yankees lose, it's just going to be miserable. And because then I'm going to look to Sunday night for the Cowboys game, which will probably be another L, which is going to be for a bad weekend.
Man.
So hopefully the Yankees are up by 5, and I can go watch the Michigan game for a little bit and go back and forth. You know,
And it won't hurt that much. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. I feel like, a Yankee loss will be more devastating than a Penn State loss or a Michigan loss. I know that sounds crazy, but
I would rather see the
that would
Yankees
hurt me a
win
lot
and
more.
Michigan
yeah,
lose.
I'm not worried about Michigan. I mean, it is what it is.
But the Yankees, man,
Yankees,
that's my
yeah.
heart and soul right there, man.
Yeah. But then we'll be in a bind.
It just sucks they're both on at the same time tonight.
Yeah, but that'd be another problem for me Sunday night. If the Yankees do win, they're going to play at 8:00 again on Sunday, and Cowboys play at 8:30. So
Well, you know what? That's a good problem to have, Gardy Party. That's a good problem to have.
yeah,
That's a good problem. So what's up with the Cowboys Eagles? Who you guys got?
Cowboys.
I got my Saints. That's who I got.
The good thing about this game is the Dallas is going to have everyone back. The way they're talking, Amari Cooper's playing, Leo Collins is playing.
You might not have your
Tyron
two
Smith
tackles.
is playing.
Though. That's
No,
huge.
Is that game in Dallas or in Philly?
it's in Dallas. I'm going to the one in December.
I think Philly's going to struggle. I think a little bit. Carson Wentz been running for his life, and no one can catch balls. So I don't know.
Are you an Eagles fan?
No, I grew up an Eagles fan, but I'm not an Eagles fan.
What team do you like?
Not anymore, anyways.
No, we have this other podcast that I talk to these guys on there, and it's called Wait a Minute, What? And they were ripping me, calling me a coward because I won't wear my Cowboys gear to the Eagles game.
Dude, you'll get jumped.
I'm going with 2 other Eagles fans to this game. Do you think in a million years if somebody's going to throw down, these 2 are going to help me out? No.
Probably not.
No.
Nah.
Look, I will go there and I would cheer my ass off in silence.
There you go. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah. You know, when the stadium has a judge and it has a prison inside of it, you just don't want to go there messing with that shit, man.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's crazy.
And they beat up one of their own, man. They got in a fight with freaking Scott from the Sixers. Do you think they're going to care about me in the Cowboys shirt?
That was brutal, man. Like, come on, let the guy breathe. I think he's from Washington too, so I think that's why he's the Redskins.
Yeah.
But that was harsh to watch.
Yo, speaking of that, man, I cannot wait for the Sixers, man. I am so pumped for the Sixers this year. They look so good. They've only allowed one team so far to get 100 points, and I don't think any of our starters really played much.
I agree.
So
The only thing that
pumped.
worries me about our Sixers this year is who's going to replace JJ Redick.
Hopefully Harris.
Yeah, you have Trey Burke, and you have a couple guys.
Oh, that's right,
Shaq
you got
Milton.
Trey
You have a
Burke.
couple guys.
We do have Trey Burke. I completely forgot about
I
that.
like Trey
I'm
Burke.
telling you
That's
right
a
now,
Michigan boy right there.
Our bench is so freaking stacked this year, man. If anything happens this year, then you got to fire the head coach because this team is stacked.
You know who looks good? Zion Williams.
Yo, he's hurt. He's missing the
Yeah,
first
his
couple
knee's
weeks.
banged up,
I know,
right?
I saw.
He's missing the couple. They said he's lucky he doesn't need surgery.
That's well. Didn't he hurt his knee or was it his ankle in that one of those?
He
big
hurt
games
his
that
he hurt his knee a little bit when he
yeah,
busted out that shoe.
I wonder if that's the same one.
Yeah, I don't know, but
But I'm pumped for the Sixers, man. I really am, man. With all the weapons and all the defensive pieces we have, the Sixers are going to have one of the best defenses in the league. You know, now they have an actual true backup for Embiid with
Al Horford is great.
O'Quinn and Horford. And, you know, he doesn't have to play as many minutes, he's 20 pounds lighter. He says, I want to play more games. I want to play. He's like, I want the MVP. I want a championship. And he's got a hit list of
You
things
think
he wants, man.
So he did lose weight. I
Yes,
didn't
he
know that.
did.
That was actually a big problem with him because for years he couldn't get his diet right. So
and you think
That's good that you bring that up.
who's got a better defense than us right now, honestly?
no one. I'm with Gardy Party. I think
Especially
we have
in the
a
East.
great
Especially in the
defense.
East. Who's going to beat us?
What's that guy's name? Matisse Theinbold, whatever his name is. They're talking highly about him, man.
We'll see. I think it's going to come down to us. It's going to come down to maybe Brooklyn, Nets. I mean, if they can get all their weapons out, they look good on paper. We just don't know what they're going to do. But and I don't know about Boston. How you guys feel about Boston? I feel like Boston took a couple steps back.
I mean, they did get Kemba Walker out of that deal, but
he's a gunner. He's a ball hog. So I think they're on the way down.
I think Boston still has a lot of good talent, though.
Well,
I don't know, man. I think
you
if you
still
ask
have
me
Gordon-
looking at it, I think the Sixers come out of the East this year.
Yeah, I do too, but they still have Gordon Hayward. They still have Jason Tatum. They still have Brown. Now they got Kemba Walker. Like, there's still a lot of good shooters in that team.
No, Joel Embiid. I wrote this down a while ago. This is how long it's been since we had a podcast. He said that he's motivated from last year. What happened in the playoffs? He went from averaging 27 points in the regular season, 13 boards, down to 17 points and 8 boards. And he said his knee was the problem. And he lost weight. He's motivated now. He wants to play a better season, more games. And now that they have those backups, man, it's all going to happen this year.
Dude, you're hyping me up right now, man.
Dude, I am so hyped for this.
You're getting me excited right now.
We all got to go to a game together.
Dude, I was hyped for the Flyers too, and then they lost 3 in a row, and I was like, that's done.
Another thing too, man, is Simmons keeps shooting these threes. You think about how many points he scores without shooting. If he can get a jumper in there, MVP right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think once he develops, if he ever develops a shot, right? Like,
he shot one in the game too and made it. The crowd went crazy.
Yeah, no, that was one of the preseason games, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you look at this. The Sixers bench: Shaq Milton, Harry Smith, Trey Burke, Matisse Thybulle, Kyle Quinn, Jonathan Bolden, Mike Scott, and that I can't pronounce his name. Kuzman, whatever the hell his name is.
I wish we still had Boban. I'm sorry, I went on him.
Dude, this team is gonna be freaking stacked. We're going to the championship, baby.
Yeah. I don't think Toronto stands a chance this year.
No,
I think the Sixers.
They lost a lot of people. All they have is Lowry.
No, I think the only teams we're going to have to worry about, and I'm not even worried about the Miami anymore, I think because whatchamacallit's there, but
screw him, man. That ruined my relationship with him.
Milwaukee is going to be the team. Yeah,
Milwaukee could be the team, though. Yeah, absolutely.
He's always the threat. He's always the threat. But, Mike, it's been a pleasure to have you on today, man. It really has.
No, I appreciate it. I do got a question for you guys, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's one thing that will secure the win for us tonight for the Yankees? What's one thing that we have to make sure we get done to win tonight?
Runners in scoring position have to get driven in.
I think it's runners in scoring position. You have to take advantage of that because Astros, even if you have a 1 or 2-0 lead, they're going to hit the ball. You have to get those runs in.
And I think we have to get an early jump and an early lead because I think if we go down, I think we're just going to sink.
You got to take the crowd out. You got to take the crowd out.
We got to come out. Man, I'll tell you right now, If we can put home runs up right away, man,
and I'm hoping we get.
It could spark us.
I'm hoping we get hot after what happened last night. I hope that was a starting point that we're gonna get hot.
I'm glad we're on the same page. I think they said that we left over 18 men on base this series.
Yeah,
I think we're 5 for 26 with runners in scoring position.
That's
before last night's game, we were 1 for 13 in the last 2 games.
It's
horrible.
Cow.
Horrible. You're not gonna win like that. And between was it Gardy and Edwin and somebody else, Sanchez, they have almost 40 strikeouts combined. 3 batters. That's got to change. That's why, hey, man. I'm a Gardy lover, but that's why I said I would put Maben in. I would start Maben tonight in front of Gardner. He's a good defender, but it might be a spark that we can get things going.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe Cardi can use a little bit of a break at this point. I think he started almost every single game so far.
He's one of the older guys on our team, too.
He's been our most loyal outfielder this year, easily.
Yeah, reliable piece. Yeah,
reliable, hasn't been hurt.
He wasn't even supposed to start this year. Yeah. Look at how he went off.
Well, let's go Yanks, and one more thing.
Yeah.
Let's go Penn State.
No.
Let's
no.
Not at all.
All right, guys, have a good time, man. Take care.
All right, man. Good
Thanks for having me on.
All right.
All right, so that's going to be it for this podcast. We had Rudy and Mike. We thank them so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure just to have a laid back conversation with them about a lot of things that are going on right now. It's great to connect with everyone. So if you guys ever want to come on, you can reach out to us. We happily will have people on.
I reached out to a couple people to come on and talk about the Cowboys-Eagles game, and they didn't want to come on. They didn't respond to my text messages because
# Reinhard.
These are the ones that we usually have battles with on Facebook and everything, and it's fine. I mean, I can sit down and have conversations as an adult and about how bad both of our teams are, but that's all right. Next time.
All right, guys. Well, we hope you enjoy this podcast, and we'll see you next time.